Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. DBougie86 back up in this. That is right, peeps of millions. Oh, yes. Now, some of you listeners have asked for this. So, I was like, whatever. Should I do an update? I might as well, and it's that time of the month again to get another update out of the way. So here it is, peeps. Blu-ray update. Yeah, all I got this month is Blu-rays to show you guys. I have a few 4Ks that are pre-ordered that I haven't got in yet, and all the other ones are either put away or maybe I forgot some things. I don't know. Sometime it's been a while. I'm still getting rusty at this, guys. But this is pretty much everything that I have picked up that I know of. So that's good, at least. But yeah, let's just get right into it. It's a very short update. There's not much to show. Well, there is, but there isn't at the same time. But yeah, let's get right into it. First up, I picked up from Severin Films. This is kind of like a collection, the Quan Ki collection from what's the name of the director? Elroy de Iglesia. Yeah, he's the guy who directed a few other movies that are actually in this update. I actually have never seen any of these yet. Kind of more like exploitation films, I guess, from his usual like psychological stuff. From what I know, like I said, I haven't actually watched any of these yet. But very curious on this, because I have seen one of this director's films before. And yeah, he's a very interesting filmmaker from Spain. Yeah, so I'm stoked to check these out. Good stuff from Severin there. Speaking of more Severin, I got this bad Larian called Born for Hell. Haven't watched this one yet. I'm going to actually be checking this one out really soon. Yeah, it's based off the Richard Speck case. It's kind of like a serial killer film, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I'm kind of stoked to check this one out. I'm very interested on this one. That cover art's pretty awesome, by the way. I kind of dig the shit out of that. So, that's some good shit right there. Next up is one that I haven't watched yet. This is kind of like a Canadian version of Assault on Precinct 18, from what I heard. And that is Siege. Yeah. Looks interesting. That's all I can say. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet. But good shit here. Next up is the Collinswood Story, which is from Cauldron Films. New label that was created by the guy who owns Diabolic DVD. Created this label, and they released a few films that I actually have checked out. Like American Rickshaw, which is a Sergio Martino film they put out. Abracadabra, which is a newer film directed by the Anetti brothers. It's one of their newest giallo films that they did. And yeah, this is a found footage film. I heard interesting things about it, so I'm very stoked to check this one out very soon. As my dogs are barking in the background. What can you do? Next up is a film that I actually rented on streaming a while back that I wanted to revisit, because I actually did like it, so I saw it for a good price. So I picked up a copy of Initiation. This is a kind of a 2021 slasher film that I actually kind of dug. Might be revisiting this very, very soon to do like an in-depth talk about this film. But yeah, Initiation, I dug it for what it was from what I remember. I haven't revisited it yet. But yeah, I dug this one. This was one of the newer movies that I actually liked from this year. Next up, I remember watching this movie back on cable back in the day, and yeah, I was very shocked when Ronin Flicks actually announced this, and that is Adrenaline, Fear the Rush, starring Christopher Lambert and Natasha Henstridge. I barely remember anything about this movie, but I do remember watching this on, like, I think either Showtime or, like, Stars. It was one of those channels. It was on all the time. I know it was like a direct-to-DVD / direct-to-cable type movie that came out. But, yeah, I'm very curious to see what this looks like on Blu-ray. It's been a while. Al Pignon himself. Next up is Gemini. This is Mondo Macabro, directed by Shinya Toskamoto. I nailed that. But, yeah, very curious on this. Love the artwork on this. Yeah, Shinya is one of my favorite directors, so very stoked to check this one out. Another horror film from him, so hell yeah. I can't argue with that at all. Next up is one from Dread Central and Epic Pictures, and that is Imitation Girl, which also comes with the film Nina Forever. I heard interesting things. It's more like a sci-fi kind of movie, this film, from what I heard. I really like the main actress in this film, Lauren Ashley Carter. She was in films like Jugface and The Woman and Darling. Yeah, I'm very curious on this one. Heard interesting things. Not really a horror film, though, but yeah, I'm still stoked to check that one out. Next up is, I remember seeing Elroy D. Iglesias. This is the film he's probably most famous for, and that is Cannibal Man, put out by Severin Films. I actually had the Blue Underground DVD of this for years. I also have a Spanish Blu-ray of this movie, ironically enough. Never checked out that Blu-ray for some weird reason. But yeah, I'm very curious to recheck this one out because it actually has both cuts of the film on this release. So yeah, very stoked to check this bad Larry out. Next up is another one from Elroy de Iglesias, and that is No One Heard the Scream. Kind of like a giallo thriller, it sounds like. But yeah, I'm very curious on this fucking one too. Like I said, I haven't seen any of his guys' other movies besides Cannibal Man. So this is stoked that Severin's putting all these out. You know, that's pretty fucking cool. Next up is, speaking of other famed video nasties, we have Midnight, which is actually a movie I actually never seen before. This one always eluded me during my years of movie watching. Always was curious on it, and honestly, I'm kind of glad this might be. I got the Severin Blu-ray to do this as my first time watching this movie because as my headphone falls out, I'm terrible peeps today. At least I'm not yawning. Actually, funny story real quick. I recorded an update months ago that I never published. Good reason. All I was doing during the videos, I'm so sorry, guys. You know, yawning every time that I talked about a movie. So, yeah, so at least that's the least of my problems right now. But, yeah, Midnight. Stoked to check this one out. Down the line. Ooh, hit the mic there. Next up is a giallo film, The Fourth Victim with Carol Baker. Who, you know, she did a bunch of movies with, like, Umberto Lenzi, my bad. They actually released that box set with all their movies that they did. And this one's directed by Eugenio Martin. If you don't know that name, and if that name sounds familiar to you, he directed movies like Candle with the Devil, and, of course, one of my favorite horror films of all time, Horror Express. So, yeah, stoked to check this out. Hell yeah. Next up, I picked up the Code Red Kino Blu-ray of Just Before Dawn. I had the 88 films, which I actually gave to my buddy Duncan, who lives in Scotland, because it was the only one, because he actually collects that line. And, you know, I was like, you know what, they actually have a good Blu-ray here of this movie. So I actually sent him my copy of the 88 Films one because I knew I was going to end up probably just grabbing this one eventually, and I did, so finally did. Yeah, I love this movie, so I don't mind grabbing multiple copies of this usually, but at least I gave the other copy a home, so here's that. So, hell yeah. Next up, another one that I picked up from Epic Pictures, and it was actually on the Dread Central page. I don't know if this is actually a Dread Presents movie, or because it says Epic Pictures Presents. But that's Tales from Halloween. I actually have never seen this movie before. I heard interesting things about it. It's a very divisive anthology film from what I heard. Very curious on it. I'm going to check it out, though, eventually. We're actually going to be doing a show on this on Cinema Attack. If you follow me on my podcasts, you can find that pretty much everywhere. We actually just actually ended up getting back on Apple Podcasts by the time you see this video. It should be up by then, hopefully. I gotta double check. But well, finally, because we just moved another system and moved to become an indie podcast, so we're still building our audience and trying to get on every podcatcher out there, that type of deal. Been kind of lazy on it, I will admit. I've just been busy with a lot of other shit. But yeah, so check out that. You can find it anywhere. We'll post it if you follow me on Facebook or anywhere. You'll see it in any of the groups that I'm in. So yeah, Tales from Halloween. Next up is another one that I actually, I'm very curious on this because it's an Night of the Animated Dead, which I believe is just an animated version of the original movie. Yeah, I'm not too sure on this. I heard mixed things so far, so we'll find out. Almost done, guys. Next up is another film from Cauldron Films that they put out, and that's 1974, La Possession del Altar. This is a Spanish found footage film. It's actually modern. 2016, I believe this came out. Cool release. I'm kind of, I like when they release like these movies that I never heard of before too. You know what I mean? Like a Mexican found footage film. So yeah, stoked to check this. I actually put this in the other day. I was going to start it. The menu creeped me the fuck out because I fell asleep and woke up and that came on the screen. But I'll talk about that during... I might actually review this coming up because I have an announcement at the end of this. Of course. Next up from Unearthed Films is No Reason by Olaf Ittenbach. I love me some Olaf. I did watch this. Very interesting movie. Lots of nudity, lots of gore, of course, and yeah, I might do a review on this down the line, just to get my full thoughts out on it because I want to rewatch it before I actually do that. But yeah, it's kind of a longer version of his one of his segments from Burning Moon, actually. The more I think about it, but yeah, I'll get into it more when I talk about it in a full review. Next up, another one from Severin, and that is A Day of Judgment. Yeah, very curious on this one. Didn't hear much about it. I didn't even know this was a thing, so very curious to check this one out. Good shit there. Next up, the last one I picked up from Dread Central, and that is Takashi Samizo's Howling Village. This is from the director of The Grudge, Marabito, Ju-On, plenty of, he did the remake of the Ju-On, aka The Grudge. I watched this on streaming too, really loved it. If you love Asian horror, this is pretty much Samizo going back to his roots of using all practical setups. And, you know, it's nothing new, but this is extremely well made. This is kind of his best movie in a while. Not to say I didn't like any of the other ones either. Some of those were filled with like heavy CGI scenes, like because he was using like that 3D technology bullshit, like with like Shock Labyrinth, and I forget the other movie he did that had like 3D in it too. It had like a bunny or some bullshit like that in it. But yeah, Howling Village, I highly recommend. Last up before I show you the last thing is Evil Dead Trap upgrade on their films. So stoked this got a Blu-ray. This film deserves it. I love this movie. I gush about this movie all the time. The people, they know that. Love me some Evil Dead Trap. It's good shit. And finally, see, I'm doing that yawn again. See there? The Cold War Creatures box set from Arrow Video. The 4 films from Sam Katzman. Comes with Creature with an Atomic Brain, The Werewolf, Zombies of Mortartow, and, of course, the classic, The Giant Claw. It's as big as a battleship. Yeah, I actually only really seen the Giant Claw from this set, so I'm very curious on the rest of them. Good shit. Good shit. I love this box set. It looks amazing. I love that the special features on this, like, you know, like, it's stellar presentation. That's what, you know, Arrow's been kind of weird lately with their releases, but when they put out something that I'm interested in, it's good quality product, you know. So they still got the game. They're pretty great with their box sets this year. They're hard to beat with those. Great with box set editions from Arrow. All right, guys, that's it for the update. Now, if you were wondering, you know what tomorrow is? Yeah, that's right. I'll be back tomorrow because, you know, I even said that I wasn't probably going to end up doing one of these this year because of last year I got so burnt out. But I'm doing this a little differently. I'm doing another 31 Days of Horror, my 7th overall. They're going to be very different reviews than the other ones that you usually see for me, because I'm actually not going to be doing the number ratings for these movies when I'm doing the reviews. I'm just going to give you my honest opinions about the films, and that's it. I don't want to mark a film by a number during these reviews, because, you know what? I'm not really that type of reviewer. I really realize that. You know, I'll do it on shows if shows want me to do it. And, you know, even my show, Cinema Attack, we do it because, you know, we have a Hall of Fame. It's just things like this where I'm just talking about a movie in general. It's like, I don't want to mark it down with a rating. I'd rather have you guys go out and watch the movies and see what they are on their own. And, you know, I'll say if some movie, you know, some shit and it's bullshit or something, you know. I'm not going to be like, hey, you know, this movie's fucking awesome, but, you know, I'm going to be like, hey, I really had a good time with this movie, but, you know, there's some goofy shit in it. But, you know, I'm going to be honest with my opinion still, but I'm not going to mark a film down because, you know, it's hard because I got a crazy nickname once when I was doing that shit, and, you know, it's hard in that sense. But I hope you enjoyed this 31 Days of Horror because I'm going to have a ball with it. I'm going to have fun because I'm doing films that I'm going to mix it up. I'm actually kind of in a found footage kick, if you had noticed lately. I actually ordered a few more found footage movies that I'm going to check out during this. It's not going to be like every fucking other day either, though. I'm going to pick one maybe and sprinkle them in here and there. It's not going to be like... Because I did that last year with like doing like a 2005 movie after doing another movie, and it's like, fuck. You know, like... I was shocked I even fucking committed to that, you know? But, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.